Well, hello there, my pack of night prowlers, and welcome back to the Lewd Lycanthrope. I'm your host with the most, Chuck Duclaw, and tonight we're sinking our teeth into the wild world of politics with a bite that's equal parts savage and equal parts seductive. Tonight, under this full moon of 2026, we're counting down the top 5 liberal politicians that need to just go away. Just to be crystal clear, though, up front, we are not wishing any harm on these folks. We don't want them dead. We just want them retired, voted out, or stepping aside gracefully so fresh blood can take over the hunt. These longtime power players have been howling in the halls of Congress for decades, and with a massive retirement wave hitting in 2026, it's time for them to transform into the well-deserved retirees that they are. We're talking age, tenure, controversies, and why the libtards need new energy. Remember, this is all good fun, no actual biting involved. Well, unless you're into that. Now let's dive into this list, shall we? Well, starting the list off at number 5, we've got Chuck Schumer. That's right, old Chucky boy. The Senate Minority Leader has been fumbling scripts, caving on shutdowns, and getting his own party to call for his head since the goddamn 1980s. That's over 45 years of turning the Senate into a sad, limp filibuster circus. At 75 going on 76, he's still trying to push bills like he's got the stamina of a wolf in perpetual heat, but let's laugh at the reality. His leadership's been such a disaster that even his own Dems are screaming he's no longer effective, and after an epic 40-day shutdown flop where his caucus splintered like cheap kibble under pressure, the progressives are howling for his ouster, calling his deals surrenders while he whines about Trump retaliating. Meanwhile, his New York approval is, it's tanked into the toilet. Picture this pathetic old hound finally kicking back with the Brooklyn Bagels and chasing them with whatever blue pill desperation keeps him pretending he's still an alpha, because the pack's done with his stale ass. It's time to unleash hungrier, harder-hitting Dems who can actually mount leadership without folding like a bad poker hand. Let Chuck chase his tail in retirement while the pups give the Senate the rough, revitalizing pounding that it's begging for. And pounding is pretty much what has been happening to the Dems lately. I mean, Jesus Christ, they have taken a beating. But, you know what? Things are always bound to change, and with midterms coming up, you don't know what's going to happen, so let's just find out. Well, making us wish for a quick death at number 4, we've got old Maxine Waters. That's right, California's screeching congresswoman, the one who's turned anti-Maxine into a meme factory of fiery rants and confrontational tantrums. She's been chairing financial services like she's personally auditing every Wall Street wolf, and at 87, pushing 88, she's been a powerhouse for civil rights and reforms for years. But holy fuck, I mean, her hot takes now are just geriatric explosions in my opinion. Remember her telling folks to swarm Trump officials' faces, or that recent hearing where she snapped, "Can you just shut him up?" like a cranky grandma at Thanksgiving. Now she's facing a primary for some 34-year younger challenger preaching generational change because people are sick of the same old thing, while she boycotts State of the Unions and rants about Trump being a low-down, dirty, no-good, filthy asshole. With age limit debates raging and retirement waves crashing, it's past time for her to reclaim the night. Swap that gavel for a nice new vibrator that actually vibrates without drama, and funnel that explosive, whip-snapping energy into mentoring instead of staying in the fray where she might just keel over mid-rant like an overused dominatrix after one too many all-nighters. Maxine's earned her scars, but the pack's begging for fresh claws, and before you know it, she's going to need to do something because one way or the other, she's going to go. Well, make a jock itch a competitive sport at number 3, we've got old Jared Nadler. That's right, the New York rep who spent decades chairing judiciary committees and chasing impeachments like an old dog after a truck. At 78, almost 79, he finally said he's done, no re-election in 2026. He announced it back in September of 25, and why, you ask? Well, because watching the Biden thing finally made him realize the party needs younger blood. Yeah, genius thought there. It took Biden's debate crash for this guy to notice he's part of the same fucking problem. He's been in Congress since 1992, so 34 years of loud liberal bluster. But the joke's on him. He got caught dozing off during Pam Bondi's AG hearing in February. Eyes closed, head drooping. Staffer had to poke him awake on live camera like he was fucking dead. The clip went viral. People called him the poster boy for term limits. His district is drowning in crime, housing crises, and overall, just real bad problems. It needs energy, not a nodding grandpa. Now his seat is a total mess, a crowded Democratic primary circus, if you will. His pick, Michael Lasher, is fighting Jack Schlossberg, Alex Boris, George Conway III, and a bunch of others. Good for him for finally stepping aside, but I think it's just a little bit too late now. Time for this tired old beast to drag his saggy, dusty balls into retirement, if you ask me. Let the hungry pups take over before he snores through another hearing and puts the whole pack to sleep. He definitely is not a good look for the Democratic Party, and that's something that he and them both need to realize. Well, making this dry heave at number 2, we've got old Steny Hoyer. That's right, Maryland's ancient congressman and former majority leader. He's 86 years old, been in Congress for 45 years, and he's finally quitting after this term, so no re-election in 26. For decades, he whipped votes like an old dom who forgot the safe word and pushed Democratic plans through Congress again and again. But let's be real, he's living proof that some politicians just won't let go. Polls show most people want mandatory retirement ages, and folks are fed up with these long-timers blocking fresh ideas just because they've been sitting there forever. He's called steady, which in my opinion is laughable, but that really means boring, predictable, and way past his prime. His party has moved on without him, for sure. Time for him to leave Capitol Hill. Trade it for golf, naps, or whatever old wolves do when they can't get it up anymore. Retirement's calling him. He should answer before his prostate takes over or his Viagra runs out. He's done his time. Way too much time, if you ask me. Now he should step aside. Let younger, hungrier people grab the reins. Give the House the hard, energetic shake-up it's been missing for years. Which, wow, I mean, the Dems are pretty good at shaking things up nowadays, but I don't think they're shaking it in the right direction, if you ask me. Well, making our eyes roll in the back of our skulls at number 1, we've got the wicked bitch of the West. That's right, it's Nancy Pelosi, the former speaker from California and the undisputed queen of the House. She's retiring at 85 after nearly 40 fucking years in Congress. That's right, she started in 1987. Her record is huge. She pushed Obamacare through, handled impeachments, ripped up Trump's speech on live TV, called him vile, he called her evil. She outlasted scandals and rivals like a true boss. But let's get real. She stayed way too long. Her favorability's been low for years, even with some Democrats. Critics say she blocked new faces, and the party wanted age limits to fix this tired democracy. And then there's that nice trading scandal. Her husband's trades look just a little bit too perfect. Big moves in Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, all timed right before huge jumps in the market. Reports claim they made over $130 million in profits during her time in power, and recent disclosures show millions more in suspicious tech plays. Republicans scream insider trading, and Rick Scott demanded a full audit and a ban on congressional trading. What was her snapback? Well, that's just ridiculous. And she says her husband does it all himself. Yeah, sure. Time to step aside, kick back in San Francisco, and sip her fancy wine. Let the younger pups chase tails without her watching every move. Maybe finally get some wild, no-holds-barred private howling sessions. Hell, I don't know. No hearings, no ethics complaints, no filibusters killing the vibe. She ruled hard and long. Legend status. But the pack, well, it's done with her. Celebrate her moonwalk out, folks. Howl from a beach chair, not the podium, bitch. And let me tell you, you could make 10 videos on just the shit that she's either done or said in the last 5 years, much less 40. It is way past time for this woman to take a hike. Well, there you have it, my savage pack. The top 5 liberal politicians who've howled long enough in the moonlight. These old wolves have had their run, chased their tails through scandals, trades, naps, and endless filibusters. Now it's time for them to slink off into retirement and sip their wine or chase their own shadows, but let fresh, hungry blood take the hunt, if you will. Politics is a feral beast, full of bites, claws, and full moon fucks. Sometimes you gotta know when to shed the old fur and just run wild again. So what do you think? Who else needs to moonwalk out of power? Drop your hottest takes or your filthiest howls and your own top picks in the comments below. Smash that like button if these geezers got you growling, and subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a lewd take on the news, and join the pack for more savage and seductive roasts in the future for sure. Remember, in a world of lycanthropes, change doesn't come gentle. It comes with teeth. So until the next full moon, stay loud, stay lewd, stay furry, my friends. We'll catch you in the next video.